Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy to see many of us joining this Congress today. My presentation will focus on social psychology and one of its offsprings, not the psychology of human relations or close relations. Now, why are we discussing this in this Teachers Congress? Well, because those who teach social psych may be interested in teaching the course, Psychology of Close Relations as well. When I started teaching at the University of Guam, I was given this course to teach as an elective. When I studied it, I learned to like it more and more. And I learned that many universities in other parts of the globe are actually offering this course. So I'm sharing with you today a snippet of the course, so Psychology of Close Relations. Not necessarily how I teach the course, but who knows, after this presentation, after getting a glimpse of the science of relationships, you may decide to teach this course later on. Okay, so as we may already know, psychology or social psychology is the scientific study of how people influence each other's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. So this influence could be actually real, imagined, or just implied. Okay, there are three important assertions in social psych. One is that our behaviors are actually shaped by our social environment. No, so for example, if you are watching a concert and at the end of the concert, people are standing and giving, standing ovation to the one performing, you may not want to do it, but because everyone's doing it, you may be forced to do it as well. So we see here the power of the situation. However, that doesn't happen all the time because we know that there are instances when we do not allow, for example, our friends to pressure us into doing something that we do not want to do. So here we also see the power of the person. Our dispositions actually also shape our behaviors. And not just that, no, the way we perceive things, the way we perceive the things around us could all, or we construe our objective reality can also affect or influence the way we behave towards certain situations. So we see here also the power of social construction. So how do you look at when you are in a situation, when you lose in a contest or you lost a job or you experience disaster? Do you see it as something really depressing or something that is challenging? The way you look at these, your situation again would also influence your behavior. So now all these assumptions are also sort of manifested in the psychology of close relations now. Okay, so at this point, allow me to introduce to you some of the basic facts and key concepts in the field of relationship science. So what do scientists mean when they say relationship? How do they determine whether two people, for example, are involved in a relationship? Okay, I don't know if you find this funny or weird. No, it's quite weird that there's actually no common definition that everyone, the relationship scientists could agree on. So I think that's also one of the reasons why the field now has actually difficulty progressing and developing a coherent body of knowledge. So there are differing conceptions of the term relationship. However, relationship scientists agree on some ingredients of a relationship. One ingredient would be interaction. That means that there would be no relationship if the people who are supposed to be involved in a relationship do not interact. So no interaction, no relationship. So if I believe that I'm in a relationship, intimate relationship with Matt Damon, for example, but Matt Damon doesn't know anything about it and we do not actually communicate. I just thought that we communicate in spirit, then there is no relationship there. Another example would be the case of John Hinckley Jr., who tried to assassinate then President Ronald Reagan, no, because he wanted to impress Jodie Foster. He said that they were in a relationship and they, again, no, just the idea that they are communicating in spirit, but Jodie denied knowing this person. So there was no relationship there. And this interaction should be unique, not to the people involved. That means that the interaction pattern would be different from, would not be the same as role-based relationship or interaction, like doctor-patient or customer-client relationship. And the people who are involved in a relationship would have a schema or mental representation of what their relationship is. And their schema of their relationship would also influence their interaction. So relationship does not reside within a single individual, but it lives in the interaction now that takes place between two people. We see here that this field, no, psychology of close relations, is so social side. No? Okay. Another ingredient of a relationship would be interdependence. No? Okay, so that means that as we interact, we would be affecting each other, and that would also affect the way we behave or the way we make decisions, for example. And this interdependence, normally, if you look at the literature, you will find that this interdependence is captured by psychologists through self-reports, statistical analyses, and direct observations. Okay. Now, another fact about relationship science is that relationship scientists do study certain types of relationship. And mostly the focus is on three. One is on mating relationship or romantic relationship. And this relationship is usually governed by social norms, expectations, and of course, laws. And this kind of relationship is normally officially marked by at the beginning and ending by social rituals and ceremonies like wedding, for example, or divorce. And then there's also another type of relationship that's being studied by relationship scientists is family relationships or kinship. No? And in this kind of relationship, the people involved are genetically or legally related by blood, adoption, or marriage. Okay. Although these days, the definition of family is also like slowly changing. There are people who consider their close friends, for example, as actually really part of their family, or some would consider their pets as part of their family as well. Okay, but this kind of relationship is relatively permanent and involuntary, like we can't choose our own parents, for example. And it's also governed by formal social and legal obligations, as well as expectations. And the last relationship that we'll talk about here is a friendship, which we know is more voluntary because we can choose our friends. And this kind of relationship has fewer social norms and obligations. This is less regulated, so more flexible now. Our activities in our friendships are actually more of personal choice now. And friendships normally fulfill our social-emotional needs like support, affection, and even companionship. Another fact about relationship science is that it is not easy. Apparently, there are scientists who believe that relationship is not should not be a subject for scientific investigation. Why? Because they think that relationship is too complex or too mysterious to yield scientific analysis. No, so there's this one person who believed that relationship should be studied, and this person said that if some scientists look at relationship that way, then they are actually robbing relationship of its significance and intrinsic value. And another thing about relationship is that it's not easy because it is complex. Now, relationship is a dynamic phenomenon and it unfolds over time and very much embedded on multiple other phenomena. We know that, no? And we know that no relationship actually exists in a vacuum, and each relationship is involved in a dynamic exchange of influence with other systems it encapsulates and in which it is embedded. And relationship phenomena is also multiply determined. Like, we know that on one hand, we have in a relationship, we have to consider personality, disposition, and beliefs, attitudes, and values of the people involved, no? And then you have also to consider communication styles, conflict resolution strategies of these people involved, and all these are embedded in their physical and social context or environment. So yeah, that's how complex relationship could be. And also relationship science is multidisciplinary. Psychology does not have the monopoly on the topic. Some of the theories and concepts also come from other domains such as social work, sociology, anthropology, and even economics. Now, however, relationships are really important. That's why relationship science is also important. No? Relationship with others lie at the very core of our existence as human beings. No? We are conceived within, born into, and live our lives within relationships. So yeah, let's study relationships now. Okay. I've mentioned that one type of relationship that's being studied by many relationship scientists is friendship. Let's take a brief look at friendship. Okay, we know that it is as important as romantic relationships, and people really value friendship. And our friendships also actually influence our moods, our well-being, our attitudes, and even our behaviors. Now, we are very much affected by our friends' opinions, no? And friendship is actually really friendship is a universal phenomenon. There are various terms, no? There are various terms that are actually equivalent, no, to the term friendship in English. For example, friendship is amistad in Spanish, amity in French, Feindschaft in German, and amicizia in Italian. Okay. And then friend also as a term, meron tayong like kaibigan in Tagalog, friend in English, amigo in Spanish, etc., etc. Okay, it's a universal phenomenon. But according to Fur, everyone knows what friendship is until asked to define it. So there are also varied conceptualizations of the concept friendship. Now, okay. But even if there is no, there are varied conceptualization of friendship, there is no one definition that we could agree on. I believe that we agree with Fur that friendship is voluntary. It involves companionships. It also exists over a period of time, and friendship depicts friends now as liking one another and caring for each other's well-being, right? We all agree with that. And Grief crafted this typology of friendship. Grief said that there are four kinds of friends. One is a must friend. This is the kind of friend that we call now when something very good or bad happens to us. Someone that we can count on, a must friend. There's also a trust friend. This person is somebody that we can lean on, no, to keep confidence. No, this may not necessarily be a close friend of ours, no, but this is someone that we enjoy being with, no. But this person is somebody that we can trust, especially with our secrets, for example. And then there's also rust friend. Rust friend is a longtime friend with whom one has long-standing patterns of interaction. No, we have a shared history with this friend. No, that history may not necessarily be intense, but this is like our friend, no, for like the longest time. Rust friend, and then there's also just friend. Um, Here, just friend meaning we have a new relationship with this person, and we just met this person maybe, and we find the company of this person enjoyable, no? And because we just made friends with this person, maybe we don't necessarily disclose, no, a lot of our secrets with this person. Okay, so are you a must, trust, rust, or just friend? You might want to type your answer now, just so we would know. Are you the kind of friend that is considered by your friends as a must friend, a trust friend, a rust friend, or a trust friend? Trust, must, trust, must, must. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your answer. All of the above. Pwede ba yun? Okay. Depende sa tao. Trust, must, trust. Okay. Pwede din combination, no? If you want. All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your answers. Now, let's take a look at not mating relationships, but rather let's take a look at one concept that's very important in relationship, whether it's a mating relationship, friendship, or kinship, no, love. Okay, if you look at the literature, for example, social psych literatures, you'll find that you will find the theory of Sternberg on triangular theory of love, the triangular theory of love of Sternberg, as very sort of famous now. So just to review, according to Sternberg, there are three components of love. We have intimacy, passion, and commitment. Now, if you only have intimacy and passion, then what you have is a romantic kind of love. If you only have passion and then commitment, but no intimacy there, what you have is a fatuous kind of love. If you have intimacy and commitment, but without passion, then you have companionate love, like friendship, for example. But if you have all three, according to Sternberg, then you have consummate love. Okay. Lee, on the other hand, and later on, Hendrik came up also with their different styles of love. Now, these are eros, or romantic or passionate love, storge, or friendship-based love, agape, altruistic, selfless love, ludus, game-playing love, mania, or obsessive dependent love, and pragma, or practical love. Okay. Burchide and Hatfield also, and then later on, Hatfield and Walser came up with basic kinds of love. Ano daw yon? One is there's passionate love, no, which is wildly emotional state characterized by emotional extremes, no, physiological arousal and sexual attraction. So typically, parang binibigay mo lang tong love na to sa isang tao. And then there's also companionate love, which is friendly affection and deep attachment to someone, and we have this kind of love with our close friends, family members, and also romantic partners. Later on, Burchide came up, modified the model and came up with this quadrumvirate model. Bakit quadrumvirate? Naging apat na siya. Burchide added attachment and compassionate love to the passionate companionate love typology. So we have now romantic love, which is synonymous to passionate love, and then companionate love, which is also like storge kind of love. Compassionate love now is the umbrella term for four types of love, like altruistic love, selfless love, agape, no? And then also attachment love is this refers to strong affectional bond with an attachment figure. Okay, that's why it's quadrumvirate model. Now, what are some of the findings of those who study close relations? No, especially on how men and women think about love. Based on some of these studies, no, on passionate, romantic or passionate love, men are actually more romantic than women. It's men who are more likely than women to subscribe to romantic beliefs like true love lasts forever, and when you meet the right person, you will just know it, and it's possible to fall in love at first sight. Um, and then women are found to be more pragmatic and non-romantic, no? When in with their view of love, women are more likely than men to believe that a satisfying relationship can be had with a number of potential partners, and that women are more practical, no? According to women, socioeconomic resources should be given consideration in partner selection, and one should choose a partner with a similar background. Okay. In terms of companionate love, women are found to hold a more companionate conception of love than do men. Women have higher score. They score higher, no, in Storge love style scale, and they're more into friendship, basically. No. When it comes to compassionate or altruistic love, even though in general there's no gender differences, but studies among Americans, Australians, and Chinese show that men score higher than women on agape scale. So men are found to be more passionate, and they have a more romantic orientation to love, no, than women. And women are found to have women are found to have a more companionate than romantic orientation. All right. Okay. Now, of course, we know that in a relationship there would always be stresses and something that would cause us to feel strain. And we're all familiar with this, but maybe we just didn't, have the time to really sit down and study this, right? So we know that ostracism can cause stress, no? Ostracism, or giving the other person the cold shoulder, no? Or jealousy can also cause strain in a relationship. That jealousy could come in the form of reactive jealousy or suspicious jealousy. No? And then, of course, we know for a fact that deception and lying could cause stress and strain, as well as betrayal. No? Again, no, it would be, I would say it would be great to really study, these topics deeper, because this way we can understand relationships better, or even do something to make sure that our relationships would, in our relationship, we would avoid stresses and strains. Okay. John Gottman came up with this classification of couples, no? But his classification was based on couples' behavior during conflict episodes, no? So he said that there are actually couples that in conflict, no, they try to respect each other's point of view on a broad range of topics. So they try to compromise, no, when they disagree. And this kind of couple is called validator couple. Now, they tend to display moderate negative affect, moderate positive affect, and great deal of neutral interaction. There's also another kind of couple, according to Gottman, and he called this volatile couples. Now, these couples are comfortable with disagreements, okay? And they typically express a great deal of negative affect, no? But they also express even more positive affect, no? And relatively little neutral interaction. Volatile kasi. Okay, and then there's also, you may be able to relate to this, no? Or think that, are you more of an avoider, or volatile, or sorry, are you more of a validator kind of couple, or volatile? or even avoider. Now, when you're an avoider couple, you're the type of couple who's uncomfortable with conflict, and so you do what you can to avoid or evade it. You may walk away from conflict and or placate each other to buy peace, no, or to give each other silent treatment. No? So avoider couples demonstrate little negative affect, little positive affects as well, and great deal of neutral interaction. Yeah, you can relate. All right. Now, how do we maintain and repair relationships? Okay. Relationship maintenance mechanism refers to that strategic action of ours, no, to sustain our partnership, so that we will stay committed and then we will stay content also in our relationship. According to relationship scientists, those in a committed relationship perceive themselves, their partners, and their relationship in ways that help to sustain the partnership. And they also act in ways that avoid or diffuse conflict and that enrich the relationship. So there's such a thing as cognitive maintenance mechanism and also behavioral maintenance mechanism. One example of cognitive maintenance mechanism is change and self-definition. Maybe you can relate to this also when you start to look at yourself as not separate, but rather part of a bigger whole. No? Like, for example, you no longer use I, me, and mine, but rather you use the pronouns we, us, and ours. No. Okay. And also another example of cognitive maintenance mechanism is positive illusion. What's this? Now, here, committed partners idealize each other and perceive their relationship in the best possible light. The example would be if you see your partner, doing something not really good, but you just consider it as something trivial, or it's just, it's everything that the person does, no, whether positive or negative, particularly if it's negative, you just find it cute, no, kahit na hindi na siya cute minsan. But still, that's a kind of mechanism that we use to ensure that our relationship is, maintained or even enhanced. Okay. One example of behavioral maintenance mechanism is willingness to sacrifice, right? We were all willing to go out of our way, just to make sure that the relationship is okay, or make sure that hindi tayo nag-aaway, to avoid yung mga away-away na yan. Prayer, to some people is also one example of behavioral maintenance mechanism. We pray for our loved ones, no? Okay, and then if you've heard of the Michelangelo phenomenon, here partners encourage each other to be the best that they can be. Now, so by doing this, we're not only enhancing our relationship, but also the well-being, the personal well-being, each other's personal well-being. Okay. Another example of behavior maintenance mechanism would be accommodation, no? And then also self-control. Pinipigilan mo yung sarili mo para just to ensure na again hindi mag-escalate yung disagreement, no? And then also you do things together, you play together, you hike together, no? And also you have your own rituals. You do this, again, as a couple. Now, you have your own names or nicknames for each other. And then, of course, there's forgiveness. If our relationship is to continue to thrive after a painful betrayal, forgiveness, as we may have observed in our own relationship, is really necessary, right? And according to Markman and colleagues, forgiveness is that decision not to give up your perceived or actual right to get even with or to hold in debt someone who has wronged you or us. Okay. Um, I would like to end this presentation by also showing some, when what happens when a relationship ends. Now, when there's a breakup, no, or someone, no, the other person dies, no, based on the um, suggestion of Kubler-Ross. Now, we also go through different stages of grief. Like, for example, during breakup, we may go through denial first, no, and then we experience anger, and then we try to bargain, wag mo akong iwan or something. Pwede ba? We give each other another chance, no, and then depression, and then later on acceptance. Okay. um Sorry, there's actually so much more that psychology of close relations can offer, but as I said, this is just a snippet, and I hope with all my heart that this presentation will make you consider really teaching the course, or even pursuing now research endeavors in the area of relationship science, or both now. All right, so thank you very much.